No one noticed the quiet woman standing alone at the edge of the crowded Marine Corps graduation field, no one except the USMC captain, who froze the moment he saw the faded tattoo on her wrist. A tattoo he had not seen in 15 years. A tattoo that belonged to someone the Marine Corps still spoke of in whispers. He took one step toward her, heart pounding, realizing this quiet mother wasn't here only to watch her son graduate, she was the key to a story no one expected to collide with this day. The sun beat down on Parris Island as families rushed to the bleachers, waving signs and wiping tears. Mothers clutched flowers, fathers held cameras, and siblings shouted the names of the recruits who would soon march out as full-fledged Marines. Among them stood Mara Thompson, a woman in her early 40s with tired eyes, a weathered canvas backpack, and hands that trembled no matter how tightly she clasped them. She never liked crowds, but today wasn't about comfort, it was about her son, Adam. She hadn't seen him in 13 long weeks. Every letter he sent home ended with the same line, "Mom, I'll make you proud." And she believed him, because he always had, even when life didn't give him an easy start. She raised him alone, working 3 jobs, sometimes skipping meals to make sure he didn't. She had promised him that one day things would be different. Today felt like proof that she hadn't failed him. Yet she kept her sleeves tugged low, hiding the old ink she hoped no one would ever ask about. The tattoo was small, but its story was not. Once, she wore that symbol proudly. But life had taken her in directions she never meant to go, and she had buried the past far beneath the responsibilities of motherhood. As the brass band began to play, families rose to their feet. Rows of new Marines marched across the field with perfect precision. Mara's breath hitched when she spotted Adam, sharper, stronger, older somehow. She felt pride bloom in her chest, warm and overwhelming. She whispered a quiet thank you to whatever force had given her the strength to survive long enough to see this moment. But as she stepped closer to the front, weaving through the crowd, the sleeve of her shirt snagged on someone's backpack. It lifted just enough to reveal the tattoo she thought she had hidden. She didn't even realize the mistake, not until she heard a voice behind her, firm but uneasy. "Ma'am, excuse me, where did you get that tattoo?" She turned slowly, expecting just another curious parent. Instead, a USMC captain stood stiffly, eyes wide in disbelief, his face pale under the blazing sun. His uniform was immaculate, but something in his expression cracked with shock. Mara instinctively tugged the sleeve down. "It's nothing," she said softly. "Just something from a long time ago." But the captain shook his head. "That's not just anything. That mark belongs to Echo Unit. Recon Division. Only 7 members ever carried it." His voice lowered. 5 died in the Kandahar collapse. 1 went missing. And 1. He stopped, staring at her as if seeing a ghost. Mara's heartbeat thundered. She took a step back. "It doesn't matter anymore. I'm just here for my son." But the captain wouldn't break eye contact. "Ma'am, who are you?" Before she could respond, the drill instructor shouted the command for families to reunite with their Marines. Adam rushed toward her, smiling bright and proud. Mara forced a smile, pushing away the storm she knew was coming. She wrapped her arms around him, whispering, "I'm so proud of you, baby." But behind her, the captain stood frozen, staring at her tattoo, knowing this moment was only the beginning. The celebration crowd thickened, and Adam pulled Mara toward the photographer's area. He couldn't stop smiling, couldn't stop talking about the obstacle courses, the night marches, the friends he'd made. Mara listened, soaking in every second, wanting this joy to last, wanting this day to belong to him, not her past. But the captain followed at a distance. Adam eventually noticed. "Mom, is that guy looking for someone?" Mara swallowed hard. "Probably. Don't worry." But worry came anyway when the captain finally approached, clearing his throat. "Private Thompson, congratulations," he said formally. Then his voice softened. "Son, may I speak with your mother alone for a moment?" Adam glanced at Mara, puzzled. "Mom? You okay? She nodded, though her chest tightened painfully. Adam stepped aside reluctantly, joining his platoon for a group photo. Mara braced herself. The captain spoke gently, as though afraid she might vanish. Ma'am, if you are who I think you are, then the Marine Corps owes you more than you know. Mara sighed, realizing the truth could no longer stay buried. My name is Mara Thompson now. But before that, I was Sergeant Mara Hale. The captain's breath caught. Mara continued quietly. Echo Unit didn't lose 6 members. Only 5. I survived Kandahar. The captain nearly whispered, but you were declared missing in action. I know, she said. And I stayed that way. Because the person I was before, she didn't survive the battlefield. Mara looked toward Adam. He saved me. He was just a baby. I couldn't go back to that life. So I walked away. The captain ran a hand over his face, torn between respect and disbelief. Sergeant Hale, you were a legend. Your last transmission bought time for the evac team. You saved 23 Marines. Mara closed her eyes. But I couldn't save my unit. I couldn't save the people who mattered most. Her voice cracked. That guilt never left me. The captain stepped closer. With all due respect, ma'am, every Marine you ever saved would want you to be here today. They'd want you to see your son wearing the uniform you once fought for. A tear escaped her eye. I didn't come for recognition. I just came to see him achieve what I never could. Then let me give you something you deserve, the captain said. He motioned to the podium, and a high-ranking officer noticed the gesture. A whispered conversation followed. Within minutes, the commanding general himself approached Mara. Families fell silent as the general addressed her. Sergeant Mara Hale, he said, voice booming but full of respect. The United States Marine Corps honors your service, your sacrifice, and your courage. Welcome home. Dozens of Marines snapped to attention. Adam, realizing what was happening, stared at his mother in awe. Mom, why didn't you ever tell me? Mara wiped her tears, smiling through them. Because your story mattered more than mine. But Adam shook his head and pulled her into a hug. Your story made mine possible. The crowd applauded, and for the first time in years, Mara felt the weight she had carried finally lift. She had only come to watch her son graduate, but instead, she rediscovered the strength she thought she had lost, and the Marine Corps rediscovered a hero they never knew they still had.